And it's lights out and away we go for the Backdraft 4-hour endurance race series here at Dezzi Raceway. First place we have Jordan Edwards in the number 46 Formula M car. Second place is Steve Clark in the number 72 Cobra, followed closely by Richard van Heerde in the number 42 Cobra. Jordan Edwards has spun out and gone onto the grass. The 72 Cobra is now leading the race. With Dezzi Racing in his turbocharged BMW E30 race car, he makes a move on the outside of the number 38 Cobra, which is driven by Rob Mordaunt, but it doesn't end up working out for Dieter. Car number 99 is now making a move on the inside of the 38 Cobra, but he ends up locking up his wheels and the 38 Cobra gets to keep his position. Number 16 has just spun out at corner number 1. That is Steve Christie in Team AE Racing. Rob Mordaunt makes a move on the inside of Leo Brander driving the 55 Cobra going into turn 1. Jordan Edwards is now making a comeback, overtaking the 55 followed by the 38 and the 51 Cobra. Up next he will be going for Michael Koenig in the number 131 Cobra. Dezzi Racing makes a move on Leo Branders in the 55 Cobra going down the mine shaft. Peter Blofeld in the 51 Cobra is also climbing up the leaderboard, followed closely by Rob Mordaunt in the 38 Cobra. BMW does an evasive maneuver in an attempt to overtake the 38 Cobra on the outside, but he just can't seem to pull it off. Rob Mordaunt in the 38 Cobra is making a move on the inside of Jevron Reddy in the 127 car, going into the long right hand corner, and they are side by side. Car 127 as the inside line for the next turn, and the 38 Cobra will have to back out and try again later in the race. The 38 Cobra makes another attempt to overtake the 127 Cobra going into turn 1, and he gets the job done. That's 3 Cobras down. Now it's time to hunt down the number 51 Cobra. Jevron Reddy in the number 127 Cobra makes a mistake and leaves the gap. Dezzi Raceway makes the move on inside of the 127 Cobra, and they are side by side coming out of turn 11. And the 127 loses traction coming on the main straight. Here comes Michael Koenig in the 131 Cobra. And he joins in, and it's a freeway drag race going into the next lap. The 131 Cobra has the inside line going into turn 1 and pushes the BMW wide. The BMW has gone onto the grass. Well, that's just quite unfortunate, as Dieter just lost all the positions he made during the period of this race. Jevron Reddy in the 127 Cobra is looking to take his position back from Michael Koenig in the 131 Cobra. Car 127 backs off and dives on inside of the 131 Cobra going into the next corner, but the 131 car defends his position and closes the gap on the 127 car. Jevron Reddy has lost control of the number 127 Cobra, and he has got onto the grass. Peter Blofeld gets sideways into corner number 11, allowing Rob Mordaunt to close the time gap on him for a possible overtake later in the race. Peter Blofeld pulls off to the side and lets Rob Mordaunt and a 38 Cobra get by. cars now come out and the race will now come to a halt. And it's lights out and away we go back to racing. We've got Jordan Edwards in car 46, he's snapping, Jevron Rennie in car number 127 going to the first left-hand corner. Van Yerde in a green Cobra is making a move on a 222 Mark 1 Golf. Here comes Peter Blofeld in the number 51 Cobra, and he decides to make a move on both the Golf and the number 30 Cobra. Followed closely by Leo Branders in the number 55 Cobra going down the mine shaft. Morden is ending the faster car by, which is driven by Steve Clark in the number 72 Cobra. And the number 72 car is on the grass. It gets out of shape coming off the grass just before going into the next right-hand turn. Car 72 is looking to get by Fakile driving the 774 Cobra, but Fakile doesn't see him and he doesn't let Steve Clark by in a 72 Cobra. And Steve Clark makes a move onto the grass on the inside of the 774 Cobra and manages to get by Fakile Holomisa going into the second to last corner. Clark locks up his rear wheels and gets sideways going into corner number 8. Car 51, Peter Blowfield locks up his rear wheels going into turn 2. Peter Blowfield makes a move on the number 99 BMW driven by Dezzi Racing, and he does it. But the BMW makes a comeback. He's going to take his position back going into the second to last corner. The 51 Cobra doesn't back down and takes the position back from the BMW E30 going into the first turn on the main straight. Steve Clark makes a move on 46 car going into the right hand corner, and they are side by side. Jordan Edwards goes onto the grass and nearly gets taken out after getting all 4 wheels back onto the racetrack. Jordan Edwards is going a little too fast going into the long right hand corner, and he leaves a gap open. Here comes Steve Clark in the number 72 car, and they are side by side coming out of the corner. The 46 car just edges ahead of the 72 car before going into the next turn. Van Yerde is sideways in the number 30 Cobra coming out of corner number 1. Jordan Edwards makes a move on Richard Van Yerde driving the number 42 Cobra going into the left hand corner, but a 42 car closes the gap on him. Jordan Edwards has got a run on Richard Van Yerde in the number 42 Cobra and is overtaken Richard on the main straight just before the first left hand corner. Chevron ready, has lost control coming out of corner number 1 and has taken out a cone just before coming to a halt on the grass. It looks like Dane Fournier is having the time of his life as he gets sideways coming out of corner number 3 in the number 30 Cobra. Team Edwards are having braking issues in the number 46 Formula M car, and their car goes wide into corner number 5. Here comes Mike McLaughlin in the number 72 car, and they are side by side going into the mine shaft. But the 46 car edges ahead and closes the gap on Mike. Car number 55, Leo Brunder, spins out coming out of corner number 3. McLaughlin is looking to make a move on the inside of the 46 car, but the 46 car closes the gap on him. Mike now moves to the outside of the 46 car. Will they be able to get side by side coming out of the long right-hander? And the Formula M is able to keep his position from the inside line. Rob Morden makes a move on Peter Blowfield at the end of the main straight going into turn 1. It looks like car 42, Dan Hirsch, got distracted there by the car on the back of the tow truck. Webb has just spun out at corner number 1. Peter Blofeld, Dan Hirsch and Leo Branders are making their way through the slower cars. Leo Branders makes a move on Peter Blofeld going down the mine shaft, but slows down a little too much. And Peter Blofeld is able to take his position back from the outside, going into corner number 7. What is this? Car number 42 has gone into the pits a lap too early. Let's see if the marshals will let him back on track, but I'm afraid pit lane is closed. And the marshal is showing Dan that it would be a no-go. What a shame. McLaughlin takes first place here at Dezzi Raceway in a 4-hour endurance race, followed by Dane van Heerden in car number 30 in second place, and in third place we have car number 774, which is driven by Fakile Olomisa. So in first place Mike McLaughlin and Steve Clark has done 174 total laps. In second place Dane and Bev van Heerden has done a total of 169 laps, and in third place for Fakile Olomisa has done a total of 169 laps. And an honourable mention, I feel that it's worth mentioning if they finish their race. It's Richard van Heerden and Dan. They have done a total of 171 laps. It would have been 72 if Dan passed the finish line, but he came in a lap too early. So they would have had second place. Ever dreamed of racing on a real-life racetrack? Now's your chance. Backdraft Racing offers high-performance race car rentals available on September 13th at East London. Entries close on Monday, September 8th. Limited spots available. Or you can join them at Dezzi Raceway on the 11th of October for the KZN Road Racing Series. Feel the adrenaline, push your limits and unleash your speed with a Cobra on the track. Or you can get your very own track-ready race car made by Backdraft. Contact them for more info. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with Backdraft Racing today and get on track. Whether you are renting a Cobra or buying your very own race car, contact them for more information. Links down in the description box below. So before we get to the race results, I would just like to ask you to rev up the love by liking this video, leaving a comment in the comment section, sharing with a fellow racing enthusiast, and subscribe for more high-octane racing. A big thank you to Backdraft Racing for sponsoring this video. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. If you would like to race on a racetrack one day by either renting a Cobra or buying your very own race car, contact Backdraft Racing today. I'll put a link down in the description box to all their business details down below. If you would like to watch round 5 of the KZN Road Racing Series, I'll put a link in the top left corner over here for Sports Cars Super GT's Race 1, or on your left side of the screen on the top, Modifieds Race 1.